Okay, so now I want to give you a slightly more complicated example here. And indeed, some of the, so here's a little more complicated example. It's not going to be the most complicated example, but, you know, it'll be a little bit tricky. Okay? So this example, I'm going to give you a fourth order equation. So y to the fourth plus xy squared minus 2 is equal to 0. Right? Now, it just so happens that there's a trick to solving this equation. So actually, you can do both the explicit method and the non-explicit method. Okay? So the explicit method would say, okay, well, I want to solve for this. So I'm going to use the quadratic formula, but on y squared. This is quadratic in y squared, because there's a fourth power and a second power, and the first and the third powers are missing. So this is y squared is equal to minus x plus or minus the square root of x squared minus 4 times minus 2 divided by 2. Okay, so this x is the b, this minus 2 is the c, and a is equal to 1 in the quadratic formula. And so the formula for y is plus or minus the square root of minus x plus or minus the square root of x squared plus 8 divided by 2. All right? So now you can see this problem of branches. This happens actually in a lot of cases, coming up in an elaborate way. You have two choices for the sign here. You have two choices for the sign here. Conceivably, there are as many as 4 roots to this equation because it's a fourth degree equation. It's quite a mess. You should have to check each branch separately. And this really is that level of complexity. And in general, it's very difficult to figure out the formulas for quartic equations. But fortunately, we're never going to use them. That is, we're never going to need those formulas. So the implicit method is far easier. So the implicit method just says, OK, I'll leave the equation in its simplest form and now differentiate. So when I differentiate, I get 4y cubed y prime plus, now here I have to apply the product rule. So I differentiate the x and the y squared separately. First, I differentiate with respect to x, so I get y squared. Then I differentiate with respect to the other factor, the y squared factor, and I get x times 2y y prime. And then the 0 gives me 0, so minus 0 equals 0. All right, so there's the implicit differentiation step. And now I just want to solve for y prime. So I'm going to factor out 4y cubed plus 2xy. That's the factor on y prime. And I'm going to put the y squared on the other side, minus y squared over here. And so the formula for y prime is minus y squared divided by 4y cubed plus 2xy. So that's the formula for the solution, for the slope.